meeting, underneath where it says don't Zoom or don't, another pop thing,
How are we
another thing
already-
came up.
Good morning, everyone. Are we ready?
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We'll find out. I think you should maybe start with board member roll call and we'll see if we have the 4.
Okay. Welcome to the Nevada State Board of Cosmetology Board meeting. Today's date is September 7th. The time is 11 o'clock. Can I start with board member roll call, please?
Board member Ditzler, present.
Good morning.
Good
Board Member Harris present.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Board Member Sweetland Jeffers present.
Good morning. We're waiting on another board member?
You have the quorum of 4, so you can move forward. If anybody joins, we'll just introduce them later.
Oh, we have 4?
You have 4, yourself, Ditzler, Harris, Jennifer, Sweetland, Jeffers.
Okay, good. Awesome. Can we have roll call with staff in the South, please?
Sure, Leah Easter, Interim Director, Chief Compliance Officer.
Lauren Gossage, Regulatory Compliance Specialist. Janie Huggins, Regulatory Compliance Specialist. Brenda Jensen, Chief Operating Officer.
Andrew Helm, Chief Financial Officer.
Good morning. Any staff from the South, from the North, excuse me? Okay, no staff from the North? Okay, so we're gonna go to the mission statement of the Nevada State Board of Cosmetology is to protect the public health, safety, and welfare of those that obtain cosmetology-related services through the delivery of quality testing, licensing, and inspection and education services that focus on consumer protection. Do we have any comments from the general public? The comments should be limited to 3 minutes, and it could be comments for any item that is or is not published on the agenda and is related to the Nevada State Board of Cosmetology. No action can be taken unless it is included in the agenda. Comments should be limited to 3 minutes. Do we have any comments from any of the participants or comments from the general public?
Euphoria has their hand up. If you would like to go ahead, Euphoria.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I guess my comment is, I'm wondering when will we be having further discussion? I'm trying to lower my hand and I'm putting all kinds of stuff. When will we be having further discussion regarding the advanced aesthetic license and where things are laid out? I know that we had discussed at one board meeting looking at that, trying to decipher whether or not some of the things that are in the advanced license can go back, like galvanic, for example, into the regular aesthetics program, and maybe making a regular aesthetics program a little bit longer, and separating the advanced based on non-ablative techniques. I was just wondering where we are with that.
Okay, thank you for your comment. Is there any way, I don't know if we can discuss it at this particular time. I'm not quite sure. What's the procedure, AG Christie?
It's just best to let them have their 3 minutes, but not to respond.
Okay. Okay, so thank you for your comment. I wish I could say more, but we are in the process. Could I say that?
Yes.
Yeah. We're certainly in the process.
Yeah, we're definitely in the process after that, the town hall, and some things have moved forward to LCB. So we're just waiting for them now.
So just to follow up then on that, so how are the schools going to be involved in that? Or are they not going to be considered at all? I'm just
No.
not following.
Sorry, this is Lee Easter. No, the schools and the licensees are going to be heavily involved. Once we get a draft back from LCB, it goes into a mandatory workshop, at which point everyone gets to see it and weigh in from there. Not to say that everybody's suggestion is going to be the best suggestion, but you'll know what you're getting into way in advance.
Okay. And may I ask that timeline? I mean, because it costs a lot of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars to invest. And I just trying to get information as to, what that looks like down the road before we, open up our purse, so to speak.
Yeah, 100%. No, we're trying to be as efficient and effective as we can be getting this pushed through. Unfortunately, the LCB is on the LCB's timeline. But you and I can have a conversation too, Lou, and kind of go over some of your concerns maybe, and perhaps like we can kind of work through that if that's cool with you.
Oh, that's awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
No worries. I'll give you a call sometime this week.
Okay. Thank you.
You're
Awesome.
welcome.
Okay, hopefully that works for you, Luke. Any other questions or comments from the general public? I would like to move on to the approval of the minutes from the previous meeting. Can I get an approval to, can I get a motion to accept the minutes from July 11th, July 11, 2022 board minutes meeting? What's wrong with me this morning? Board meeting minutes.
This is board. Oh,
Go right ahead.
this is board member Douglas. I like to approve the minutes for July 11, 2022.
Can I
Brian
get a
Baltazar,
second?
second.
Okay, awesome. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Aye.
Two.
As a quick note, it looks like board members Douglas and Baltazar are now on the call.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so the first petition to hear is Ashley. Is it Ashley Albany? License, student ID 101010235 for possible discussion action. Do we have you here today?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, good. Can you raise your hand, please, to be sworn in?
With my real hand.
Yeah.
That's a great question, actually, considering. Ms. Abney, do you swear to tell the truth in your testimony today?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so you petitioned to come before the board. We would like to hear from you.
So I graduated from Euphoria, and so basically I'm just petitioning in order to be able to take the state board so I could get my license.
Okay, but why, but you're petitioning to get your license. Is that the reason you came before the board?
Yes, so
Was
I
there a
could.
particular reason why?
Well, in order for me to even go to school for aesthetics, I had to go upon the board because I have a felony. And I was on probation at the time. I'm no longer on probation, but because I was on probation, they said after I finished school, in order to take the test, I have to come back onto the board.
Okay, any board members have any questions for Ashley? Okay, well, can I get a motion to allow Ashley Abney to take her state board exam?
Board Member Ditzler, I'll make a motion that we accept the petition for Ashley Abney to go ahead and get her license, take her tests, exam.
Board Member Harris. Board Member Harris, I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations, Ashley.
Thank you.
Okay, good luck.
Thank you.
All right. Petitioner number 2 is that Jasmine Bush, license C 52639 for possible discussion and action. We have Jasmine Bushy. Are you here today? Calling twice, Jasmine Bushy. Okay, there's no Jasmine. So it's a cease and desist. I would like to get a motion to uphold the cease and desist and the citations involved. Can I get somebody to give a motion for that, please?
This is Board Member Douglas. I would like to uphold Jasmine Bush C-52639 petition.
Can I get a second?
Board Member Harris, I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Petitioner number 3 has asked to be moved, so you can skip down to petitioner number 4.
Oh, okay. Is that Ashley Abney? You had a question for us?
Yes, I'm so sorry. I just wanted to ask, like, now that I could take the test, am I waiting for a text message or how do I go about that?
We'll reach out to you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And I can leave right now, right?
Yes, you're good
All
to
right.
go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so petitioner number 3 asked to be removed to the next meeting?
That's correct.
Okay, petitioner number 4 is the Belzar Studio in Parlor. License number, salon license 188047. Are you here today? Petitioner number 4, Bazaar Studio in Parlor. Are you here today? Have we heard from them?
No, we have not.
Okay, I would like to get a motion to proceed.
Member Ditzler, I make a motion that we uphold the citation for Bazaar Studio S-188047 for $1,100.
Yes. Can I get a second?
Brian Baltazar, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Petitioner number 5 is Melinda Folaro.
Hi there.
Hi, license number N6389. Can you raise your right hand, please, and be sworn in?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you swear to tell the whole truth in your testimony today?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Okay, you petitioned to come before the board. You're welcome to speak.
Hi there. I'm so
Hi.
excited. This is my first Zoom ever. I'm just excited I made it this far. I've been doing nails locally here for about 28 years. And the only reason I petitioned my citation was I Ziploc bagged them here. It's a paraffin machine that I use. So this is the holder that's in the picture. This is a stainless steel that I keep this copper scoop on, which is also copper, so it's steel. And I had them, you know, like so next to my machine. And I just wanted to make it clear that I am a germaphobe and I really pride myself on my job, and no skin has ever been in that machine or touched. I scoop it out into an antibacterial bag, or excuse me, antibacterial wax into a disposable bag. So I thought the citation, now I'm using disposable paper cups, but I just wanted to explain it wasn't a porous surface that I was reusing or double dipping or anything in that aspect.
Okay, I have a question for you. So kind of like explain to us again, you have this container that you put the wax in that container and
Correct.
you do what with it?
So I do just nails only. So when I do pedicures or manicures, what I do is I have a paraffin machine that's kind of oblong, like a shoebox, if you will, a little longer. It holds about 4 pounds of wax, which I buy at Viet Beauty as antibacterial wax. I put into the machine, it's constantly warmed, you know, and I then take my scooper. I would take my scooper here and go into the wax and fill up a plastic bag that I buy to put the foot in. I would then put my scooper back on my tray and put the foot in the bag, you know, let it soak, get rid of the bag. So just to be clear, the scooper never, you know, was double dipped into any contamination, or no skin ever touched any wax or anything of that matter. Like no skin, I'd never dip a hand or dip a foot into the wax. And I was hoping that might have been the miscommunication as far as the dirty equipment. There was a couple drops of wax on the outside, but you could put it under a microscope that there wouldn't be any skin or hair in there, you know, as far as human contact.
Any board members have any questions or comments that you guys look at there's a picture attached. I don't know what the procedure was when I did see the photo that was provided. So do we have any board members have any questions? I know we have a manicurist board member on a nail technologist board member. You want to take a look at that?
This is Board Member Douglas. I would like to ask a question to Melinda about the violation description. It says equipment not kept clean or in good repair. So I'm just trying to figure out, I mean, was it damaged or anything? I'm trying to
No.
get to.
That's my concern. And my only other concern was when you take the lid off and you open that particular paraffin machine, it's stained a little bit red from the old paraffin I used, but now I use lavender and I used like I don't know, pomegranate before. But again, it's just a stain, like it wouldn't have been contaminated or dirty. That was the only thing I could think of, is it's an older machine, but it's not like it had wax oozing out the end or anything, you know, hopefully you can see in the photo. It would have just been a drop here or there from putting the lid on and off is all, if that makes sense. So I'm really funny about double dipping. I'm a cancer survivor, a type 1 diabetic, and I've done this 28 years and I've never been cited for anything. I'm funny about it.
Okay, this is Board Member Douglas again. Is the inspector a woman? Are they here to ask the question about the failing to properly maintain walls, floors, ceilings, furnishing?
This is Lauren Gossett, Regulatory Compliance Specialist. Pamela was the inspector who issued the citation, and she is not present at this meeting.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're
Ms.
welcome.
Douglas, if I could interrupt, I was able to speak to Pamela. I walked in about 10 minutes after the citation was already given. And what she explained to me, the problem was more with her was the wax, like I said, that might have been on the outside lid, and then the actual scooper itself. So since then, I now use disposable paper cups, but I did explain to her, you know, no one's touching the wax. And that's when she told me, you can go ahead and appeal it, you know, so I'm just, that's all.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Okay. Good morning.
Who's talking?
Sorry about that. Board
That's
Member
okay,
Harris,
just
can you
make
hear
sure
me?
you, that's okay, just, excuse me, just make sure if you're getting on the call new, just make sure you mute your phone, please. That's okay.
Right. Okay, so yes, as a manicurist, so far as the paraffin wax is concerned, I can see why you're cited. So you did have some, even though inside of the wax is not contaminated, this is true. The outside, you can't, every time you use the scooper, you must clean it before you dip it back in, because if not, it's contaminated. And on the outside, then you have dust, debris, this is the desert, all of that's
Understood, okay.
contamination. Yeah, so
Understood,
that's,
just with the
yeah,
cup sitting out on the surface. even
yes,
though it's
and
not
the
porous, it's
outside.
in the air. Yeah, understood.
Right, so maybe clean it off the next time and conceal it. And then, but the way you're doing it is perfectly fine. It's just that, yeah, it's also debris and bacteria that
Which
sits
is-
while you're not
which-
using it.
Make perfect sense why she suggested just not getting rid of the wax, but using paper
Right.
disposable cups now, which is what
There-
I've been doing since.
There you go, that's it. And we
Understood.
thank you for your service. Yeah, so that's it.
Okay,
And I guess at
understood.
this
Thank
time,
you.
fantastic. So at this time, I guess we'll make a motion to uphold the fine
Okay,
for, I'm sorry, I lost the number.
It's number, petitioner number 5.
Petitioner number 5. Oh, okay. For
But
petition
let me,
number,
before you make that motion.
okay, sorry. Mhm.
Ms. Harris, before, Board Member Harris, before you make that motion, can I request that, and I do understand why, Melinda was cited, but because that cup, let me ask you this question again, Melinda, is that cup consistently sitting out, or you just use it to scoop with? But do you use it to scoop and you put it back in the plastic bag, or you honestly, you leave it sitting out?
no, it was always sitting on that stainless steel thing in my cart, so it wasn't, sitting out, but
Okay.
yeah, it was out. It was
Okay.
exposed, yeah.
Okay, that's all I
Yeah.
needed to know. Thank you for your
Yeah.
honesty. Okay, go right ahead, Board Member Harris.
Okay, yes, so we understand that. So next time, so you know. So, so I would look to uphold this fine for Miss Melinda Filardo in -6389.
It's Board Member Douglas. I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Good luck to
Thank
you,
you.
Melinda.
Okay, so do I get a notice now, or do I have a time period, or?
You'll receive a letter in the mail, Melinda, from Lauren in the next week or so.
Okay, if I go in for surgery on the 15th, I'll only be down a couple days. I won't miss any deadline,
You're
right?
gonna be completely fine. No, don't you
Okay.
worry about that.
Okay, thank you so much. And I can
Okay.
leave now?
All right,
Yes.
you can.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye. Petitioner number, I believe it's 6. Is it Astrid Corona? Astrid Corona, ST 101012321. Is that a student?
No, Ms. Corona's license number is N105049. This is petitioner number 6.
Oh, what am I looking at? The
You're
petition?
looking at number 8.
What? Astrid?
No, I'm not. I'm looking at number 6.
Astrid is number 6.
Yeah, I'm looking at number 6.
Okay, I'm looking at the agenda. Sorry, I've got the N number there.
Okay, but she a licensee. Is she a licensee or no?
She has since received her license, yes.
Okay, is Astrid Corona here? No? Colin twice? Astrid Corona? I would like to call a motion to uphold.
Member Ditzler, I'll make a motion that we uphold, looks like both citations for a total of $3,000 for Astrid Corona N-105049.
Brian Baltazar, I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Petitioner number 7, is that Aaliyah Arkashevia?
She did good on that.
Aaliyah Arkashevia?
Yes.
You're
Yes,
here?
no, ma'am. Yes, I'm here.
Okay, your license number is A519555. Can you raise your right hand, please, to be sworn in?
Yes, sure. Just give me a second. I will figure out about the camera.
That's okay. We'll take
You
your
can
word
just
for
raise
it.
your hand.
Okay, yes. I'm sorry. I apologize. Yes, I do.
Ms. Arkasheva, do you swear to tell the truth in your testimony today?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so you submitted a petition to come before the board. So can you now have the opportunity to speak?
Yes, thank you so much for this opportunity. Yeah, I would like to explain my situation. So this year, on April 19th, I got the warning, I guess it's just, yes, like warning looks like, about the prohibited teaching students of eyelash extensions. So, and then I went in person, it was in April 27, to the Nevada Board of Cosmetology, and just spoke with some of your associates and just asked her what should I need to do, etc. Then after that, I got the bill, $1,000, $100 to pay this fine. So, yeah.
Okay, but do you know why you got cited for the fine? It sounds like you're not sure why you were cited. Are you sure? Do you understand why you were cited?
Yes, actually I understand, but accordingly, this paper, when I received, it was on April 19th, it's just like, it looks like to me, like warning that I should have stopped doing that, and that is prohibited here in Nevada state, because before I didn't know about that. I moved here, it was in 2020 during the pandemic. So it was my mistake that when I moved here, I didn't reaching out with you after when you start working. So after that, when I moved, it was in March 2020, I just figured out that a lot of people teaching here, I did my extended research and I found at least 13, 15 individuals and salon owners who doing that. It shows me, unfortunately, that I can do that. And yes, it was my mistake that I didn't reaching out with you again after that. And then I start teaching people here. It wasn't groups. It was like individual one-on-one training. Anyway, yeah, I'm completely understand about the situation. So yeah, that's why I little bit maybe don't understand why I got this bill after when I went in person and asked a couple questions. Because on the moment when I got this paper, April 19th, I did not teach anybody since 2021, actually.
Okay, so it's time now for the board to ask questions, but I just had a question for you, because you made a statement that you kind of researched about like 15 people that's actually teaching. If you could give that information to our board staff to look into, we would appreciate it. I think the biggest issue is teaching the lash extensions to
Mhm.
individuals that don't hold in the license. So what's happening in our state is we're getting an overwhelming amount of individuals taking and spending thousands of dollars taking lash classes, and we don't have a lash license. So
Yes.
they're under the impression that they can go and actually work in an establishment to perform lash services when that's not true.
I got it, ma'am.
Yeah. So if you can give us that information that you researched, I would really appreciate you
Yes.
passing that information on.
Yes,
So
of
that
course.
we can do something about it, because we're trying to make sure that it's a even fair playing ground for everyone.
Yes, sure, ma'am. I will provide all this information which I have, yes, about these persons and
Thank you.
individuals.
We appreciate
Yeah, sure, sure, ma'am. Yes.
Do we have any other board members that have any other questions or any other comments?
This is Board Member Douglas. Alea, was you
Yes,
cease
ma'am.
and desist, was it twice or just once? I see one for the 19th and one for the 28th, so I don't know if it's two or just one.
Yes, ma'am, that's correct. So I got from the April 19th, I'm sorry, and then I received that bill April 28th.
Okay, so that amounted to $2,500?
No, it's just like $1,100.
That's the wrong.
But when the inspectors went out, this is Board Member Bramo, do we have, Leah, can somebody share that? Because it sounds like you continued with your classes after you went in.
No, I'm sorry to disrupt you. No, I did not teach anybody since 2021.
Okay, because these are 2022 cease and desist citations. I'm kind of confused at the moment.
That's okay.
Yes.
We can hear from board staff to clear it up for us. Can we hear from staff, please?
Sure, Lauren Gossage has some information for you.
Yes.
Okay.
Let me share the screen. Okay. This was the original Instagram page that we found relating back to her account. So
Yes.
this one, it does give you the link to her booking website. This is a page on her booking website about lash training. The first cease and desist was sent on April 19th of 2022. And the second cease and desist and citation was sent on April 28th, 2022, after we followed up. Once we send the first cease and desist out, we follow back up on the social media account to ensure that everything is taken down. And the website and the social media pages were still up and they were still active.
Oh.
So she has advertisements for private and group training for lashes.
I understand. Yes, I understand. So it means like I should remove everything, right? Because I didn't do anything. I didn't touch anything that like till today, because yeah, I decide like to do nothing. You know what I mean? Like nothing, deleting, nothing.
Well, it looks like right here too, when we looked at that information, it was still people like within the time frame of 2020.
No,
you know, like so many weeks, 39 weeks and different amount of weeks that was like thanking you for your class.
No, this is just still all these pictures and everything. Yes, it is. But if you will see about the dates, I mean, like where it was posted, it was 2019, 2020, 2021. So, but yes, I agree that all information about the training class still on my website. I can remove it because I didn't know that
You're gonna
I
keep
should
getting
to remove
fines if you
everything.
don't remove it. The board's gonna have the right to continue to fine you.
Oh, that's why. Okay, I didn't know about that. Okay. Yes, this is student work, yeah.
Yeah.
So I just explain you, I have experience teaching my students maybe already 10 years. It was in my country. And when I came here, I just continue my career in this field of beauty. So yeah, and I won my championship here. It was in 2018 in Miami. And a lot of people just asking me about that. And I decide, to do that, not because this is different technique. So
Maybe you should market to professionals.
Oh, yes. So I agree. I understand. I need to delete everything, right? Correct? About training.
Correct. And I can
Yes.
give you more information if you are looking to offer a continuing education course for those people who are currently licensed cosmetologists or estheticians or even advanced estheticians. I can give you proper verbiage on how to go about being a continuing education provider. But yes, you will need to take down all of the other previous advertisements as those courses don't lead to licensure.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. I got it.
Okay. And make sure you give that information to board staff, okay?
Yes, sure. I will do.
Okay, I would like to call for a motion at this time.
Board Member Ditzler, sorry.
Go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion to uphold the citation for Aliyah R. Shiva for the $1,100. And I do believe that we could make a payment plan for her. And I'm going to make that into my motion. I guess her license number is A-51955.
Brian Baltazar, second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you
Okay.
so much. I appreciate it.
And if you need payment arrangements, they put it in, it was put in the motion so you can reach out to board staff.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. Bye. Thank you.
Petitioner number 8 is Alexis Pitts. ST 101012651. Do we have Alexis Pitts?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Can you raise your right hand to be sworn in?
Yes,
Ms. Pitts, do you swear to tell the truth in your testimony today?
I do, yes.
Thank you.
So today I'm here coming to the board regarding if I can get up to $5,200 of fines removed. So information that was obtained by the apartment complex that I had been living at, the Fairways at Southern Highlands Parkway. Their management was not fully relied to the board. So in March, I did receive a notice from the management office to cease all activities being conducted in the apartment and was given 5-day notice to cure. I complied with the notice and ceased all activities immediately as I did not and could not afford to be evicted. The 5 days had passed. However, management did not come into the residence to confirm that the violation was cured. After several attempts to obtain the date from them, they still didn't do an inspection, and we instead received on March 16th of this year, 2022, a 3-day eviction notice. So then that had put me and my family in a very tough situation. My 77-year-old grandpa especially, because he had a matter of only 4 days to obtain a new residency and spent thousands of dollars on the new house that we're at now. So I do apologize for not knowing the rules and regulations set forth by the state of Nevada as I am from Hawaii and was certified out there and wasn't properly educated on needing to get my license. I did learn my lesson from this because we were basically homeless for 3 days with no house. And I've now enrolled in school. I graduate September 30th of this month, actually, and I would love to move forward to be able to get my license, but because of such fines, it's making it so hard. I received fines of up to $5,200. And recently I just found out that it's now $7,200, which is outrageous because when State Board had been sending the fines to me regarding everything that happened, it was all being sent to the wrong address. And mind you, we were only given a 3-day notice. So the last thing my grandpa's gonna think about is to change our address right away. So they had been sending all these fines to the wrong address, and I didn't find out about the fines until July. So then that's when I had submitted a petition to go forth with the board.
Okay. I have a question for you too. It
Yes.
appears, can we, before I ask you the question, I think we need to hear from Lauren and staff, because what it sounds like to me is that you continue to solicit for clients. So I want the board to be able to take a look at the evidence that we have, okay? So
Okay.
Lauren, can you go back up for us and show us what you have actually?
Yes, allow me to share the screen. Okay. So for Lexus Pitts, we received a total of 4 complaints. One was dating February 15th of 2022. 2 were on March 15th of 2022. One of them was from business licensing. And the 4th one was June 30th of 2022. This was the original Instagram account that we did find on March 30th when the original cease and desist was sent out. It did give her booking website, so we were able to pull the additional information. The booking policy was on her slides on the actual Instagram under booking. This also explains for any confusion I have caused, I've decided to think it's best to end and continue my lash from home, but secretly. So that's explaining her situation of the first instance of being found lashing out.
Okay, so Lauren, can you 1 second, please? Can you go back up one? I want to read this note there.
Sure.
On March 10th.
Correct. So that was March 10th.
Can you
and that
excuse
was
me 1
prior to
second?
moving out.
1 second. Let me just finish reading, because it seems like this came after. Okay. Okay, go ahead, Lauren.
Okay. The next slide is her availability in April, showing dates and times. This was also found on March 30th. This is a little information that was pulled from her, directly from her booking website, letting people know that she was certified in lash extensions. And with only 3 months of lash experience, she ended up quitting her part-time job and dedicated to do lashes. This is information on arrival. This is more information about Lexus Pitts as a lash technician. Information to read before booking your appointment. What to know prior arriving to your appointment, arrival. It gives her phone number and her personal email address. At this time, she was unlicensed. This was found on March 30th. These are the services that were offered at the website during that time. This is a new Instagram page that we found on April 14th, which is when we sent the second cease and desist, and she was cited for a first offense.
Let's see the address.
So we have another booking website, has the policies, and at this point in time, she is an active student. This website was found on June 30th, which was when we sent a third cease and desist and a citation. This is another additional Instagram page that links back to a booking website for prices and clients. This was found on June 30th while she was an active student. This is the other Instagram page relating back to her lash. It's a new Instagram page that has her schedule, one-on-one training. This was found on June 30th, and a new booking website.
So now the one that was before, the second one or the third one was doing training. Which one again that is doing training?
This website does have a one-on-one training. Further down, I do have slides of more information right here. The one-on-one lash training, a 2-day training. So she is an active student at this time. Her enrollment date was April 25th, and we found this on June 30th.
Okay. Any other questions for any other board members?
Brian Baltazar for the petitioner. So my question is, these are quite a few accounts and quite a few booking sites. Why, if you were unaware, why the frequency in creating new platforms every now and then I mean, can you answer? Can you maybe provide some clarification on why the creation of new platforms if you were unaware?
I am certain that this is the same account. I've just changed the names because I'm going to be so honest. I'm someone that can't decide on whether or not I want it to be this way or that way. But that's really all. It's the same Instagram, just different names changed around a few times. But I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. It's been so hard because my mom's a single mother and she's on the road. And I understand that these are all activities that are going against the law. And I am aware of that, which is why I also enrolled in school. I was told that if I am taking clients, that I won't have to charge them, which I have been doing. So I was taking clients as models. I have posted and have proof of basically stating that I'm going to school and that I'm going to have to stop services. I do have proof of that if there's any way you guys want to see that, but I have shown proof that I stated I cannot take clients because of my exact reason, and I haven't been taking clients since charging them. For the one-on-one training, I did post that, but I haven't taken anyone, and if I have, I did not charge them, and they were close friends. So yes, there is proof that I have posted that, but I haven't charged anything to anyone since then. And I have set prices that were up there, but they weren't being charged to the client.
And I'm sorry, you're said Brian Baltazar again. And I'm sorry, you're saying that you have proof indicating that you were okay.
I needed to stop all services because I am close to graduating soon. I've stopped services since I moved because it was hard getting clients in because of my situation. I'm in school every day, Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. at night. So there's no time for me to be able to take clients at all, not even like the models. And since I've been enrolled in school, I was told that I am allowed to take clients as long as I am not charging them and I don't have my prices up nor a booking website. Yes, I've had booking websites up on my page, but that is for after I graduate and get my license. But what's holding me back right now is all of these fines against me, and I don't mind that at all. I actually was requesting to see if I could get $5,200 waived off and pay the $2,000 fine, because I can't afford that much of a fine right now. Like I said, we spent so much money on the house. We spent $5,600 to be exact on the house, that I didn't have enough money to come into school. I'm still making payment arrangements for school, and it's so hard with my schedule that I'm not able to work either.
And just for
And
confirmation.
even just taking,
Mhm. Go on.
and even taking the clients, they only tip me. So I'm not getting paid for the food service that I've been doing.
And just to confirm with board staff, she cannot proceed with any licensure until those, I imagine, until those fines are paid off. Is it correct?
Historically, they need to pay the fines before they can pay for their initial license.
Okay, just wanted to confirm. I don't know if the
I
board
think
has.
what we've done in the past, Baltazar, I think we did something in the past where they could take their exam, but they couldn't get the license until
Right.
the fines are paid. And I do have some concern, and I think the biggest concern that I do have right now is after watching the information, is that, I know that times are tough because they're tough for us all. And I do understand that, but the defiance of continuing to service the clients and teaching the classes and only receiving tips, but then they have to book on the booking sites. And I think that there's just a number after the staff sent out cease and desist notices, it continued. I think that's some of the biggest problem that I'm having personally, because you didn't stop. You didn't stop. You kept changing your page and making it look really pretty. You do excellent work. I commend you for that, but you didn't stop.
Right. And even although that there was prices up there and I wasn't charging people, it's still against the law to perform these services, because that's not what I was told when I enrolled in school.
Well, the schools know as well, though, Lexis. I don't want to put the schools in the situation right now, because the schools know as well that they can't tell you that. So if they're listening, and you can go back and tell them that the board said that they know better. So they shouldn't be telling students that they can practice at home, because they can't.
Okay, so my only concern is it's really hard for me to get a job doing anything else currently, because my schedule right now is Monday to Saturday, 9 to 9:30, or either 9 to 4 or 5, and no one can take me to get a job. So my biggest concern is I do have money saved up already, because I've known that I've been being fined. So my only question is there a way that I can get these fines knocked down at least a little bit? Because at first, when we were being fined, they were being sent to the wrong address. And if they were being sent to the correct address, I would have been able to make the payments on it. But because I was noticed not until July that I had been fined, I wasn't able to make those payments to you guys. So now my balance owing is $7,200, but that's a lot for me to pay right now, especially since I can't get a job.
I would like to make a recommendation to the board. I would like to make a recommendation, and you can help me with this, Dag. I would like to make a recommendation that Alexis is able to take her exam when she completes school. I would like for her to pay as much as she possibly can to get her license. And when it's just about paid off, I would like for her to come back before the board to see if there's anything that we can do to help reduce it. But I would like to see the fines stay.
This is Board Member Douglas. Me too.
So can I Is that possible, Dag, if we could do it that way?
I think, well, the payment plan is one thing. I just think that there just needs to be clarity as to, I mean, how much you want to see paid off before you consider maybe a possible waiver.
5,000.
Who said 5,000?
Am I allowed to speak?
Is this
Sorry,
Ms.
can you hear
Hicks?
me?
Well, yeah, but right now, the board is kind of deliberating, and I really just would like to hear from the board members.
Board member
This is-
Ditzler, sorry, I think I keep interrupting you.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, board member Dixler.
I feel that we should uphold these fines. The change of address, I can understand not being done within 3 days, but we're still doing them in June, and she's getting, if she had notified the board or her school, because they're the ones with a new address, is the reason she didn't. She's saying she did not receive her citations or cease and desist. I think that we should uphold that. I'm okay with her getting her exams and passing them so she can get her license. But then if she needs a payment plan or whatever to pay the balance, I think that's what we need to do instead of trying to piecemeal some now and some later. She can pay what she can beforehand. And then, I mean, that's just going to help her after she gets her, passes her test.
Okay, but I think some of my reasoning, and I can kind of explain it to you, the reason why I was wanting her to come back before, one of my reasonings for wanting her to come back before the board is that she had a cease and desist and then she moved. So she knew to cease because she had a cease and desist first. Then she moved, okay, I can understand that second fine, but the 5,000 total I was looking at it because two of the last fine came about when she moved, it looked like. When that last 1,500, okay, that was operating without. The first one was out of the license and then practicing without a license and operating a salon without a license. That made it the 52. That made it the 52. Where's the second citation to bring it to the 7,000?
This is Lauren Gossage. I can help explain the citations that were issued on June 30th. She got practicing without a license, a second and a third offense. The second offense was because she was still continuing to do lashes. And the third offense was because we then found the advertisements for her teaching classes. So operating without a license would be, she is posing as a school. And then she's also operating a salon without a license, taking clients for just regular lash appointments. And then she got the using advertisements which contain knowingly false or deceptive statements because of the lash classes that they didn't specifically state that they don't need a licensure.
Because the invoice that I'm looking at, it has 5,200. So there is another invoice, right?
There is. Her her original citation was on April 14th. She got a first offense for practicing without a license and operating a salon without a license, because at that time, there was no advertisements for her teaching classes. So those came after when we followed up on her social media accounts.
Am I allowed to speak?
Yeah, you can speak now. That's fine.
Okay, so yeah, I was gonna say, I understand that I've continued to do the services and I have it posted of that kind of sort. And like I've told you guys, I will pay the fines as much as I can, but the 7,200 is just a lot for me. And it would really mean the world to me if I could at least get the first 2 fines that I was given, so the $5,200 waived, because how could I have not known about being fined if the fines weren't sent to me and I did not receive them until July? Because like I said, if I've known about it, then I would have been paying them.
So what you're saying,
now,
so Alexis, let me ask you this question. So what you're saying to the board is you never received a cease and desist. Is that what you're saying to us?
I've never received it, and I have proof of all the fines that you guys have given me, and it shows that the address on the paper was sent to the apartments which we had been moved out from already. And so you guys didn't, or the state board didn't send me all these fines until July. So I understand that what you guys have been seeing and collecting the information was up until that point, but on my end, I didn't know that I was being fined because they were being sent to the wrong address. And that would have been, and those fines that were charged to me could have been paid off if I have known about them.
But what you would have stopped is the issue. I don't think it's so much as the fine for the board, because the board has the discretion to reduce the fine, but would you have stopped? It doesn't look like you would have stopped.
Okay, and I'm going to be completely honest with you. If I have known about the fine because it had gone to the new correct address, I would have stopped. But because I didn't know I was being fined, I continued. And that put me in a position where I didn't know anyone was after me or the state board was after me and charging me fines. Do you get where I'm saying? So like all that time that I was being fined and didn't know about it, and if I knew about it, I could have been paying it. I could have been paying it off, plus I would have stopped all services.
So the business license never came out to your apartment is what you're saying? That's not true?
No, that's not true. I've never received any mail from anybody until July, and I have proof of that.
Is the Instagram page still up?
It is, but I don't have anything posted.
This is Lauren Gossage, Regulatory Compliance Specialist. On the day that she submitted her petition, which was August 2nd, her booking website was still up and active.
Okay.
But as of today, before the board meeting, we checked and it is taken down.
Okay. That's what I kind of thought that.
Yeah, so $7,000 is a lot. And like I've said, I've saved enough money since when I found out about the citations. But from not knowing until July that I was being fined, that's a lot of money that I could have been paying you guys to clear my fines and I would have stopped services. But here's the thing. I didn't know that you guys were trying to get a hold of me and were fining me because like I said, the apartment complex, you guys have been sending the letter to the wrong apartment complex.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. Let me ask you this question. So when you submitted your petition, you knew that there was a fine. Why would you keep your Instagram up?
I didn't know having it up would put me in a position to where it would get me in trouble because I use my Instagram as well to promote that I'm taking facials in school.
No, but on the
and I have
the same
proof of that
Instagram
too.
But I think the whole issue is you still have the same Instagram promoting the services that you're here today for when you receive the fine. It seemed like immediately you should have shut that page down because you're not supposed to do the services or teach classes.
Correct. And like I've said before, even the clients that I've been taking, I haven't been charging them because like I was told in school, it's technically not, everyone's giving me false information because when I took a lash class, nobody told me that I needed to go to school to get my license to perform these services. So from the start, I didn't know.
Right, I get that part. That we had a lady here today. You were on the call. You could see. So we're going to be trying to work on that
right.
as soon as possible. But I think I don't think at this time there's really anything to go back and forth with because it's pretty much like kind of cut and dry. Does that make sense? Even when you did receive the petition, before you submitted your petition, you had an outstanding invoice and you knew that you were being fined. You never took your page down. You never said, oh, I finally got this here. They caught up with me. Let me just get rid of this page because I'm not doing it anymore. You were still, we don't know what happens. We don't look out, like we're not following you and have cameras and things like that. So we don't know if you're still taking the clients or not. All the staff know is that you still have that same information up that we're asking you to take down.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna need.
Then I have.
And I understand that it's a tough time. I think at this point we're all the board members are really willing to allow you to complete your course and to take your test so that you don't have to wait a long drawn out period to take the test and all the information can still be fresh. But I would like to make a recommendation that we uphold the last citation for the 5,200, that it be paid before you can receive your license.
Okay, so sorry, am I allowed to speak? I'm sorry.
Just the last time before I call for a motion.
Okay, so basically what you're saying is you guys are knocking $2,000 off and for $5,200 to be paid, or how am I gonna do that?
That's what I would like to ask the board. I'm only asking the board.
Okay.
They might say no.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, they might say no, it's not, I don't have the final say. They might say no. I'm just asking them if we could reduce the fine for you, that you can take your test and then you can pay that $5,200 so you can get your license.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you need a motion?
Can I please?
This is Member Ditzler. I'd like to make a motion that we uphold the citation for Lexus Pitts ST 101012651 in the amount of $5,200 to be paid before she can receive her license, but she can take the exams.
Can I get a second, please?
This is Board Member Douglas. I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Lexus. The board has made a decision to allow you to take your exam and pass the exam, and then you pay the $5,200 fine, and then you can receive the license.
Okay, perfect. And then am I allowed to do payment plans?
Yes, in the letter that I send you, well, I guess the $5,200 does have to be paid before you receive your initial license, so there wouldn't be a payment plan available for that.
She can start paying now, right?
Yeah, you can start paying any amount at any time, and I'll send you the link and information after this board meeting today.
Okay, perfect. That sounds good.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye. Agenda item number F, the board to review job descriptions for the executive director, deputy director positions for possible action. I hope that the board members have taken a good look at the executive director's job posting and the deputy director's job posting after today. If the board would like to add anything to, okay, let's just do this. I'm sorry. Let's go to the executive director's job description first. And it's just a draft so that the board can, at this time, if they would like to see anything added, anything taken away before it's posted.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Ditzler, I have a question on if when we approve this, we can add and take out things at later dates as we see that it needs to be done that way. Is that something that you would consider, or do we need to have everything in this today?
So this is, I think this is what the plans are from the AG down, that because we're working on the interim right now, and it's going to be to the board's best interest is to approve a description that needs to be posted. And that position is going to be what the board is going to be expecting of our executive director. So if you think of something that you think you might want to add to it or take away, can we like do as much of it as possible today, so that this job description can be posted? Both job descriptions need to be posted, so that when we have our next meeting, hopefully October, we will be actually voting for executive directors and deputy directors position.
Okay.
So just kind of like look through it, and see, especially if you as a board member, you know that we work directly with the kind of the executive director. So you kind of know if there's something that you see that you think that they should be doing, or say, no, this is maybe something that the deputy should be doing. This is going to take too much time for the executive director to do. And she, maybe the deputy director should be doing that, because the two job descriptions are kind of similar, but not. We always want to be able to make sure that if anything was to happen, God forbid, something happens to our executive director, that the deputy director the board can vote that the deputy director steps in place of that position. So that's why it was sent to you guys like a couple of days, so that you can take a look and say, okay, this is good. Okay, we would like to see the executive director do maybe X, Y, and Z, or we're just kind of looking, because this is going to be a job description that will go out once it's approved today. I think it's going to go out this afternoon.
Board Member Ditzler, it seems like pretty much everything is covered as far as staff goes, the board, any legislative stuff that is needed to be done.
But did I see in here, because I wanted to be able to make sure that the executive director acts as a point of contact with the Attorney General's office and or outside legal counsel. Okay, working closely with the board's lobbyists, that's huge. That's important. Okay, so let me ask you this question, because I want to know if this is going to be an executive director's function or a deputy director's function, like we had earlier, where Euphoria needed some clarity on some things. Should that be the deputy director's role? Do our executive director want to work directly with our schools? Should she work directly with our schools and our licensees, or should that be something that the deputy director does?
When you say work directly with the
Because I think it was I think it was, and I don't want to say this because I know this is an open meeting, but I just want to make sure that the executive director is not promising things like we shouldn't.
Well, I'm assuming that, and this is Board Member Baltazar, I'm assuming that the executive director obviously has the discretion of delegating any of these tasks to the deputy. I'm assuming that, that can maybe be based upon board discretion. I'm just a little leery of starting to carve out specific duties and assigning them to the deputy, because after all, and I'm assuming this, even though we're approving a job description for a deputy, that the deputy is answerable to the executive director and the executive director is answerable to us. That hasn't changed, I'm assuming.
We're gonna change that, Baltazar.
Okay.
We are?
Yeah, we're gonna change that. We discussed that. The deputy director should be, it's not on the agenda, so I'm not gonna talk about it, but we're gonna have it on the next agenda. I would like to see it on the agenda so that we won't have some of the same issues we had in the past.
So that definitely changes the dynamic. And so I'm going to take a moment to pause because I need to digest that. That certainly does change a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Madam President, just for clarity, so if there's going to be changes carved out as far as what the duties of the deputy is done, do you still plan on, does the board still plan on being on track for an October 11th date, the next meeting date, as far as any selection process? Because that's going to require probably more than one meeting to, if there's a carving out issue, since.
Well, my thought pattern, and you guys correct me if you're thinking something different. I was just thinking that if we approve the job, the board had the opportunity to look at the job descriptions for a couple of days now. So if the board sees that, well, in the past, okay, this is what my train of thought was. In the past, the deputy director reported, and they still report, to the oversight is given by the executive director. But I think that because of what has happened for a long period of time, and it can always be changed, but this is what I'm thinking, just for the staff and those that are involved, that the board should oversee both of those positions. Those positions that the deputy should be appointed by the board as well. So that way, if there's issues ever again in the office within the staff, they have somebody that they can actually go to, and not just the executive director that put that person in position. Does that make sense?
Okay, well, just to advise the board, given the first agenda item that's listed, whether or not the board wants to agree with that separate appointment process of the deputy director, it would still be on point on the first listed agenda item as far as job descriptions are concerned and authorities attached to it.
Madam Chair, I'm going to add, do you want us, okay, from what I understand, you want both of the directors, executive director and deputy director, to answer to the board, correct? Maybe in-house, answer to the director, and then if there's a problem, answer to the board.
Only if there's a problem, right?
We hope there's none of those.
No, we don't want any of those. But you're absolutely right. The deputy reports to the executive director. That's the first chain of command.
Right. And then if there's a problem, then the board. I don't see where would we put that? I mean, in the rules and regs. 'cause
We have to
already
vote, we have to
know.
vote for it. We have to vote, right? Right, Chrissy, AG Chrissy?
The thing is, the selection of the deputy, generally or previously, it was reserved with the executive director. The board does have the discretion to make the policy change that it will now make the selection of both the executive director and the deputy director.
Okay.
So those are the options that the board has.
Do we need to approve that now, or do we have to have that put on?
Can we approve the job descriptions first?
Yes. You can approve the job descriptions, and we can circle back to just the authority of the selection process at the later meeting. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Brian Baltazar, so I certainly don't have issue with that. Is that something that we can write, or is that just an internal change that we have to make, or is that an NRS or NAC change that we have to make?
It does not require a NRS or NAC change. It's my understanding it's a discretion of the board, because if they want to go ahead and participate in the selection process of also the deputy as well.
It's a policy.
Okay. Yeah, it's a policy change.
Okay. Well, I certainly, Madam Chair, I definitely understand your concerns and see how you want the deputy to serve as a counterbalance to the executive director.
Mm-hmm.
So I certainly see exactly what you're doing, and
yeah, thank you,
I
Val.
wouldn't have an issue with exploring these new areas.
And there's some valid reasons that I think all the board members are pretty much aware of. And just moving forward, we can, the staff will have that reserve to be able to come to the board if necessary.
Now, another question, Board Member Baltazar. Should we carve out the specific education-related duties for the deputy if we find, for whatever reason, that just is not the direction that we want to go in after we've invested time in that? Is that something that we're able to restructure in the future, or will that be permanent because it is in the job description? Would we have to then change the job description and approve that in order to make the change? Or I just want to make sure that we have as much flexibility to maneuver in any way that we need in the future, regardless of what decision we make here.
So you're looking at the deputy director's job description now?
Yes. So I'm saying if we do carve out the education portion and assign that to the deputy AG, and should we find that maybe that's not working, or whatever other duties that we may want to assign in the future, are we able to do that down the road? Would that just require changing the job description again at a later time and approving that? I just want to make sure that we have the flexibility to maneuver in any way should we encounter any challenges or want to maneuver in a different way.
I'm not sure with that one. I mean, that's a question, I guess, for Chrissy. But I think what the job description is, the job description looks like for the deputy, because they were at first similar job descriptions.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of like how the deputy and the director actually worked before. They have the same job description. It's just the board, the staff is since 2014 when we hired, or 15 when we hired the last deputy director. The board has grown tremendously with licensees and businesses and schools, and it's just grown tremendously to where the deputy director and the executive director should not have the same job description. I think the way the job description, it looks like to me, they kind of like work together, taking some of the load from the executive director, giving the executive director an opportunity to continue to expand the board. I mean, the board staff and the licensees, and the goal of the whole cosmetology industry. I think that the executive director that we put in that position, vote to that position, should be able to grow with the salary, and not just grow with the salary and not grow the board, but grow the board and the salary, and being able to expand and not have to be bogged down with just things that that shouldn't, just to be able to grow. I'm just looking at, the industry, and it's growing, and we want our board office and we want our industry to grow successfully. So I think we should, to me, the job description of the deputy is to assist the executive director to oversee all these things to happen. And it's whatever else duties assigned. If the executive director see that there's some additional duties that is there, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sees other duties assigned by the executive director. If the executive director see that there's some additional duties that need, to be done, in order to, remain efficient, I think that's the executive director's call.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think the board has, if they have concern, in the future, if there is concern, I don't see why it couldn't come back again before. I don't see why the board members couldn't bring it back before, even when, even later.
Okay.
I think it looks like it's a good balance right now, because the executive director is going to report to any matters related that might affect the agency, lead internal policy and development and organizational goals, oversee the board, the quarterly board meetings and subcommittee meetings. Do you want the executive director to do that, or you want the deputy to do that?
I think it's going to work hand in hand. They'll be probably working mostly as a team to make sure whatever one doesn't think of, the other one will.
Well, who do you want the board to be able to call on? You want the board to be able to call on the executive director? That's going to be when you mean, okay, let me ask this question. When we mean oversee organization of quarterly board meetings and subcommittee, do we mean report to or oversee? That's the question.
It's probably putting all of the information together for the board.
Organizing it.
Yes. Because I still believe that we should reach out to the executive director. And if the executive director is not present at the time, at least we can reach out to the executive director to get any information that we need.
I think the board should reach out to one.
Well, if we're going to hire both, we should be able to reach out to both.
We had a deputy director. We had a deputy director before. We never reached out to him for information. We always reached out to the executive director. So what do you guys want to do? Reach out to both?
What about chain of command?
That's kind of where I was going with that.
Well, I mean, chain of command would follow, the executive director first, except on those specific job duties in which we have to reach out to the deputy. And so that's why I guess it's important to understand, what we are assigning to the deputy. And of course, I understand that we can revise that job description at a later time. I mean, is that correct, Chrissy? I don't want to be just assuming.
Yes, that is correct, as long as it's under a properly noticed meeting.
Okay, so I guess the important part is The chain of command, I don't see an issue with. It's just, we need to know what we're assigning to the deputy.
Then we want to make sure that the deputy director can give the, because they're going to be responsible for the non-executive staff evaluations. So that's kind of important too, that the executive director can do all positions. Because how do you evaluate somebody if you don't know the positions? I think that was some of the problems before too.
Was there a model that we went off of?
I believe it was the original handbook.
The original handbook, these were the,
Or modified version, I think, of the original handbook. Try to update to like maybe more how the agency looks 2020 versus, 2015 or whatnot. But I mean,
Board Member Dixler, the job description that we had before, the job description for the deputy director before, I'm going to tell you this, it's identical to the executive director's job description.
oh.
They both had the same job. So this one has been revised by staff as well too. It's been, the interim, it's been revised to what the board office needs.
Yes.
Pretty much, like
Okay.
right now, because it's kind of like giving responsibility to the executive director so that if the executive director doesn't have to depend on the deputy director to do its position. Does that make sense?
Personally, I'm okay with what we've got right now.
Any other questions from any other, the Baltazar, any other board members? Come on, you guys. You reading the deputy's position, okay? The deputy is going to be supporting the executive director and helping to grow the agency and run the office more effectively with the non-executive, evaluating the non-executive staff, ensuring that that the delivery of specialists of inspections and their services are working directly with the teams to address the areas where we need to improve. So if there's areas where we need to improve in our inspection, that's going to be the deputy's director's new position, is going to be assisting in those areas. With the testing and licensing and inspection and education services, collaborate, making sure that we're kind of like whatever's assisting other state agencies and looking at the different regulatory changes in our region and things like that, just to make sure that we are where we need to be solid every year for anything, that may arise. But it's a huge position because it's a position that's going to be very important with the staff and making sure everybody's working efficiently and effectively and happy. Nobody wants to work and you're not happy. You're just working to go for a paycheck. We want people to be happy.
This is Board Member Douglas. I'm like with Kathy for the job position. They're kind of like if you put the deputy executive director and the executive director jobs, if you put the deputy director, you can just balance them out. Because like you said, they're kind of like all the same, but then each one of them is gonna seem like they're gonna know each other's, job description. So if the deputy director is under the executive director, to me, it's kind of like all the same. You're just going to tweak the little things.
Well, remember when we had those evaluations, you guys, remember what those evaluations came out to be? So that's why I want you guys to kind of remember back. The reason why we're bringing back a deputy director, but we remember those evaluations that we had, and it showed that, you know, we want to make sure that the executive director and the deputy director job description is not the same. Because if the job description is the same, why do we need a deputy director?
Okay, so why don't you just take out the executive and just hire the directive, a deputy directive, and just leave it at that?
So we shouldn't hire a director, because a director is gonna be the person that's gonna really oversee the agency and report to the lobbyists, the attorney general's office.
No, I'm saying, why don't you get rid of the executive director then?
We have to have an executive director. That's
But it's too much work. See, before we see that, remember as a board, it was a lot of things that we were trying to get done, and it appeared like some of the things just didn't get done, remember?
Right.
We were asking, can you help us with this? Can you help us with that? We would like to see this. We would like to, you've heard board members say all these kind of things in the past. But
Yes,
that
I
it's
did.
overwhelming when you're asking one person to do all these things that the board will be requesting here now in the next 10 years or whatever.
You're
So
correct.
with a deputy executive director, a lot of that research and things that need to be done in regulatory compliance and all those things, those are things that we put in the description for the deputy director.
Madam
I think
Chair,
that's appropriate.
Can you take some of the load off the executive director and the executive director and put the deputy director, you know, give them some of that work?
That's what the
That's
job
what we're doing.
description did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what it did, Board Member Douglas. It gave it's giving the executive director some room to continue to grow the agency.
Okay.
Madam Chair, this member Ditzler here. We're kind of, I think, overthinking this as far as the director and the deputy director. The director is over the agency, or the executive director is over the agency and delegates. And so you've got a deputy director that they are going to delegate to, which the deputy director will be mainly over the staff, and they will delegate to get what they need. The deputy director is not going to do all of the things that the director does. The director is going to be more responsible for, like you said, the schools, the legislature, the board. Now, if those come into play, then the deputy director will fall in, and they may not know all of what the deputy or what the director knows, but I feel like they will be able to help if the director is not available. That's basically all this is I think it's just the director, the deputy director is going to handle more of the staff, where the executive director is going to handle the higher up.
Well, the way the job description here is written, Kathy, did you look at the deputy one here? Because
Yes.
the deputy one has a lot of other responsibilities that were added. And the reason why I think the responsibilities were added is to take some of the pressure off the executive director, because the executive director does oversee the agency, but don't the agency, at what point do we continue to grow the agency? So if I'm growing, it's just like growing my business. If I'm growing my agency, how can I grow my agency if I'm pushing paper all day? How do you get to grow the agency? You need the assistance of the deputy. Now, this is my opinion. You need the assistance of the deputy director to assist you in that. So they should kind of know each other's position, but not doing the same position. Because in the past, from what I was seeing in the years that I've been on the board, that the deputy director had the same position as the executive director. And so how did we get anything done when we got the executive director doing that, his job position, but what is the executive director doing if the deputy director is doing the position?
I understand what you're saying. And that's why we're making the changes that we are. Is
Okay.
because we no longer have the situation that we did have.
Right.
Okay, and
Okay.
it's our job to make sure that we put a person in place that knows how to delegate, knows how to bring the agency further forward, which is what we're all wanting it to do.
Okay.
Because we've been stagnant for so long. And, but as far as what's in the positions, the deputy director is more over the staff as far as that's their first chain of where they would go if they have a problem, or, and then to the director, if that can't be, and then to the board. You know, I mean, it's going to be a 3-step process there. But that's how I'm seeing the process here. We do not want what we used to have. And we will make sure that that doesn't happen.
So do you see anything in that deputy's director's job description you want to change? Just tell me if you see, let's get it changed now so that we can get the description posted. So now that we are focusing on the deputy's director's job description, and you saying that you feel like the deputy director should be mainly staff related. So do you see anything here under key responsibilities that should go to the executive director, and then we can take something out that you see that should go out of the executive director's job description? Maybe it shouldn't even be there.
Well, if I may, Madam President, Brian Baltazar, I think perhaps we should start assigning the subcommittee meetings to the deputy director. Just the frequency of meetings sometimes can get high. And so anything outside of like a main board meeting, I think it would just bog down the executive director to have to attend so many board related meetings.
That's a good one. I like
Yeah,
that.
I'm okay. I mean, if you guys see anything that should be changed, because this is what the goal is. The goal is to approve the 2 job descriptions today. I mean, I apologize that we have a short window, but we want to be able to make sure that we have an interim and an executive director in place before the year ends. And the last board meeting, I believe, is October. So we want to be able to make sure that we go into the new year with a permanent executive director and deputy director is the goal.
Mm-hmm.
So if the job description of the deputy director have something in it that you're saying that it probably should be with the executive director, then it should be with the executive director. And then we look at the executive directors and say, okay, this probably is not a function of an executive director. Let's take it out. So if you want to see more staff related language there, let's add some. Because I think we had something, I think it's something in there that says development of the agencies, the lead internal policy, the development to agency and organizational goals. So if you want maybe that person to be able to, you figure out how you want them to lead the staff. What is it that they should be doing to help grow the staff? Or, I mean, this is the time for us to put it there, because to change it is going to be already, somebody's going to be hired already in that position.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the goal. The goal is to put somebody in that position. So if you don't see a lot of staff related information there that you would like to see, then we don't know how that, we might not have the right wording for it. They do. We have assistants here. So just this is a time to speak about it. And then also it has a salary, a starting salary. Let's kill 2 birds with 1 stone. It has a starting salary attached to it as well. Under salary and benefits. We need to say if that's a good starting salary, and once the committee decides what, who they're gonna hire, who they would like to recommend to the board, because we're gonna vote on that today too, but we need to get through the salary. Is the salary, let's agree with some things right now. We're gonna agree to go through each person, look at the key responsibilities of the deputy director, and let's agree to that. Or disagree to that. Let's change that. Then we're going to go to the salary. We're going to agree or we're going to disagree with that. And then we're going to close that one out. We should be done. So can we look at the responsibilities of the deputy director? If you want to see more staff related language, or see the deputy director working with more to do with staff, I see some strong staff stuff there, but I could be overlooking it.
There is a statement in the responsibilities is to supervise non-executive board staff and oversee the daily operation of the board. That covers the staff.
So what is it meant by oversee the daily operations of the board?
Where is that at?
What's a daily operation of the board? Is it a daily operation of the staff or daily operation of the board?
Where's that at?
It's in the same sentence. Bullet number 3.
Yeah, third one down.
Well, the daily operations of the board is what they're doing now with the licensees and the testing or whatever that's taken place here. That's your daily operations. Anything that oversee anything that needs to be changed, I would think the director would then fall in. Because the deputy would go if they're not sure what somebody should do or how they should do it, then the deputy director should be able to go to the director and ask that part. But to me, that line says that they're over the staff.
So you want us to, this is board member Douglas. So you want us to vote on this today, not next Monday?
No, we have to vote on it today, board member Douglas.
There's not a meeting Monday, is there?
No, we have to vote on it today. So when it says review application for licensures, the supporting documents and the complaints to determine the appropriate action. Okay, should that be the complaints? So, okay, are we eliminating the compliance people? Because I thought compliance did the course of action with complaints.
To add into that, yes, those the compliance department, for example, Lauren and Janie would receive complaints. But then from there, if we have board petitions, for example, it would have gone historically to the executive director to review to see if there's a resolution before it gets to you, all that sort of thing. So the compliance department would still be functioning. It would just be like, a higher level oversight, I think was the intent with that.
Okay. We should probably put oversight. We should probably put oversight so that the executive director is not making the decisions on the appropriate course of action, but there's like a chain of command from the compliance to the executive director to the director. Can we change that review applications for licensure supporting documents? Because you have a department that do that, but I'm okay, it sounds good for the deputy director to oversee it. Because if it goes from the compliance to the deputy to the executive director, then the oversight will come from the deputy director to the executive director, right?
Yeah.
So the deputy would basically iron out if a resolution could be found and the executive director would approve whatever the deputy director does, I'm assuming?
Yes,
Okay.
because I don't think the deputy director have time to be reviewing applications for licensure, right?
You mean the executive director doesn't have time?
The deputy director don't either. Who approved licensure? Because if we don't have anybody to approve the licensure, then it needs to be the deputy director.
I'm, as far as over the applications, I think the applications that they're talking about reviewing are ones that have had felonies or some unlawful thing that they're trying to get past. I don't think it's just the regular applications during the day, because I think that's done mostly on as far as when they put it in.
It's the difficult stuff, right? It's the
Yes.
stuff that needs some oversight. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I think it's a start. What do you guys think? I think it's a start.
Yeah, and this will get us in the process that we need to go as far as to get us going. We need to get moving with the agency, because right now we're kind of stagnant. And getting the people in place that we need, I think is really a good thing.
Yeah. I think so. I mean, and then it's up to the executive director to see some things that she want to recommend to be changed. She or he, whoever recommend if there needs to be some changes, then the executive director should know that, right?
Correct.
So do we look at the salary and the benefits, the starting range of the salary? Their salary is going to be starting at, you see the amount?
Are we going to okay each of these or together?
What do you mean?
Are we going to vote?
Separately, we're going to vote for each one of them separately. But I wanted to, before we call for the vote for this one, I wanted you guys to make sure the starting salary was okay.
Okay, are we on the deputy or the executive?
The deputy.
Okay.
Because the deputy could possibly start at more than that. It's going to be depend on the board once the committee selects that person. If that person has more qualifications, you don't want to, and they could do the job, and we know they can. We can always, that's a starting amount.
Yeah. And I think that puts, that's a good range, 80 to 121. You've got 40,000 difference there. So depending on their experience at what they could start at.
Okay.
And move up from there.
As the board, have any other questions from any other board members before I call for a motion to accept the executive director's job description, the deputy director's job description? Any questions? Any questions, any concerns? Speak now. Baltazar?
I mean, admittedly, it's been quite a bit to digest, but no, I think, but no, I like the direction that you're going in, and I haven't seen this before on another board, so I'm curious to see this through, actually.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good for our board.
Well, I could definitely motion to approve. I feel comfortable.
Ahead.
I'd like to motion to approve the deputy director's job description.
Member Ditzler, I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
You do a much better job. I could see you just didn't start. You didn't just get out of school.
Can you get your phone, please? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Awesome. Okay, so now we are going to do a final look at the executive director's job description. And you'll be able to see some of the more technical responsibilities there. Any questions with the job description?
Madam Chair, do you need a motion or we're going to discuss this more?
No, I just kind of wanted to make sure that all the board members had a good chance to take a look at it to see that how they kind of differ, but they work together. They're different job descriptions, but they work hand in hand together. You can see, you know, that there's some things that were added. See what the starting salary is.
Board Member Douglas, on the key responsibilities, the fourth one down informs the executive director of the status and progress of pending work and alert him or her to any deficiencies. Could you add that to the deputy director's job?
Wait a minute. Say that again for me. Say that to me again. Under key responsibilities, number 4, foster effective teamwork.
No, I got informs the executive director of the status.
Board Member Douglas, I think you're actually reading from the deputy director description.
That's the deputy one. That's her position.
Correct, but you were asking earlier as far as taking some key responsibilities from either one and giving them to the deputy director.
Okay, so let me just make sure we're clear, Board Member Douglas. So what you just mentioned for the number 4 for the key responsibilities is already in the deputy's director's job description. Did you want that to come out and go to the executive director?
Okay, no, I didn't know if it was in the the deputy director's thing.
Let me pull it up right quick. Let me make sure.
I just see deputy executive director.
Hold on, let me make sure.
Right, we've already voted on that.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay,
Yeah,
it's in the deputy directors already.
Okay.
Yeah, it's already in where you want it, Board Member
Yep,
Douglas.
it's where you want it.
Thank you.
Yep, it's where you want it. Anything else? And then just respond to, like, you know, any production of requested information. The executive director is going to be busy. It's busy making sure that that's going to be the final eye on everything. Okay, that position should be the final eye on the agency when it comes down to production. because we have our separate accounting department, but with the production of and understanding what the budget is for the, moving forward, what we need, what to grow, how we grow, if we need, with fees and, not fees, but licensing fees and things like that. Just kind of making sure that we are comparable to all the other surrounding regional, surrounding states in our region. I don't see anything else I would like to add to that job description or take away. Did anybody else see anything?
Yeah.
That's where that is.
Okay. Looks like all departments have been covered with the deputy director and the executive director.
Right. I think with the two job descriptions together, I think it's a great start to me. I just want you guys to see the same thing. So you know what? Developing a here. Okay, so this is a good one. I had a question. When it says develop and adhere to the annual balanced budget while ensuring financial alignment with the strategic plan, when was the last time we did a strategic plan?
Anybody know
I think
that?
it was like 2020.
2020?
Yeah, I could look at it.
If you didn't hear for the folks in the back, we think around
I
2020.
think it was included in the executive director's packet and then the previous board meeting approximately 2 to 3 years ago.
So we did one in 2020?
I think so. Maybe actually probably 2019 then, because 2020 is obviously COVID, so there's probably 2019. But I can't say for certain.
I would like to see it.
Let me see if I can look an option of that.
Okay, well, I'm good on the executive director's job description. Are you guys? Any other questions before we call for a motion?
I don't think there are any further questions, Madam Chair.
Okay, you want to call for a motion?
Brian Baltazar, I'd like to motion to accept the executive director's job description.
Can I get a second?
Member Ditzler, I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries, yay. Okay, so number 2 is the selection of the members to review the applications for the executive director and deputy executive director position for possible action.
Madam Chair, I'd like to volunteer for that, one of those positions.
Okay.
Madam Chair.
You want to go ahead?
Oh, no, I'm already part of another search committee for another board. I don't think I could endure, to be honest,
I think I would like to volunteer for that to be, would it be a conflict, Christy? It shouldn't be if I was to volunteer for that committee.
Now, when you say conflict, what do you mean exactly? Like, what is there anything you want?
Because I'm because I'm the chair. Could the chair be a part of that committee?
Yeah.
The chair could.
Okay, I would like to look at some of the applicants.
Do we need to make a motion on this?
We need another person. Anybody else on the board would like to sit on the committee? I think we should have 3.
I would agree. It should probably be 3.
I mean,
Was that?
That's probably a good idea.
So board member
Was that
Harris,
board
I would
member
like to
Jeffers?
maybe,
Oh.
Sorry about that. No, I'm here, but.
We need somebody in the southern area.
I think Jeffers was about to say.
I think Jeffers was.
Yeah,
voting in.
I'll volunteer to sit on the committee.
Okay.
Sorry, we're trying to see you as you all unmute yourselves to see who is next in line.
So Madam Chair, just for clarification purposes, so this search committee moving forward in future selection processes, should we go through this again, is it just going to be strictly volunteer based, whoever is not self-nominates and is voted on, or are we going to have like designated, like, I don't know, the executive offices to be part of the search committee? I kind of feel like I need clarification to wrap my head around this on how we're going to be moving forward.
Well, I think it's just for this committee because the interim is actually applying for the position as well. So I don't think the executive staff should be a part of it.
No, not executive staff. I mean, like the executive, like president, treasurer, secretary, vice president.
Okay.
If the search committee should encompass those three moving forward. I mean, the position is obviously going to be filled by different individuals moving forward. So I don't think there is fear enough that it's going to be certain people that are always going to be the decision makers, because those offices are going to obviously rotate. But I don't know. I know that was an idea that I threw out in the past. I just want maybe some structure for the future, maybe not applicable to this current cycle, but maybe for subsequent cycles in the future.
So what you're saying, let me just clarify what I think I'm hearing you say. You're saying, like, should it be like the chair, the vice chair, and the secretary? Should they be like 3 executive positions oversee those applications for the committee? Or should it be an actual committee that the board members wish to sit on? Is that what you're asking?
Exactly. Whether it's going to be volunteer based, regardless of who holds what position, or if the search committee is going to be those 3 elected officers. I just kind of want to know what the rest of the board members thought on kind of ironing out what future search committees are going to look like.
Well, that's a good question.
That'd be a later item.
Yeah. Deputy Attorney General Harris here. You know, this is something that could be fleshed out later, given the circumstances that the board is in as far as the selection for the ED as well as the deputy. The board doesn't have to commit to an exact committee process now. Because the other thing too is there's also like the benefits, I would say, at least with the volunteer process, is that it allows some flexibility with the board members. We don't know what positions those individual board members moving forward will likely be at. And so the volunteer process has allowed for some flexibility, just, you know, should we have any random issues, pop-ups, things that the board never anticipated. So whether the board wants to commit to an exact process could be later decided down the line, but at least, you know, maybe we could just table that for another meeting.
Yeah, I think too, Baltazar, because, you know, the positions change from year to year. You know, so maybe we should have it where all the board members, you know, in the future, you know, my thoughts, you know, being able to weigh in on who's going to be, you know, they are board members, so they should maybe be able to look at the selection to kind of see that this applicant is a qualified applicant, because ultimately it has to come back to the board to vote on.
Right.
Okay. No, I'm on board, and
Okay,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the committee is going to bring back the recommendations to the board. The board is going to ultimately vote on the new executive director and deputy director.
Okay, so just for point of clarification, the volunteers are yourself. I'm so sorry. Who self-nominated again?
We have board member Ditzler, board chair Bramo, and board member Sweetland Jeffers, who were the first 3 volunteers.
Okay. Well, if we don't want to add any additional, I'm open to motioning to accept those 3 board members to serve on the search committee.
Okay, any other, can I get a second?
Member Ditzler, I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we done with that part. Comments from the general public. The board will entertain comments
Madam
from the
President,
general.
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted to flush out a couple more issues before we go into.
Okay.
The other is, I just wanted to confirm with the board, at least when it wanted to, the date when it anticipated having, the position be opened, when it will be closed, and where the job postings will be posted.
Okay, so can we, I know it's like 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock. Is there any way that the job postings could be available and ready to post for, I'm trying to find my phone, get my calendar for tomorrow. Tomorrow is Thursday. And the job, where the jobs postings are gonna be what, Indeed?
Just a suggestion, if we treat it like we do our typical job postings, could we perhaps post it from Monday, leave it 2 weeks, and then close it 2 weeks from now on a Monday? That gives enough time to, I think Andrew usually does our Indeed postings to kind of get that turnaround time. And 2 weeks, unless you think longer, for folks to apply if interested. And Indeed and our website are fine, if that's what you all thought. If there's anywhere else, let us know.
Yeah. I think a lot of people go on Indeed. So if it posts tomorrow, the 8th, can we close it the 22nd?
I'm for the 12th, posting it on the 12th. That way it starts out the day, everything right and going till the 26th.
Well, kind of people that's kind of looking too on the weekends, they do a lot of searching. So we're gonna lose 1 weekend. Oh, no, we won't. We'll have 2. Okay.
And then the committee will work on a date to get together after the applications come in.
We're gonna wait till all the applications come in?
I think would probably be the best.
It's gonna be a lot of applications.
You think?
We should look at the applications each week. It's gonna probably be 100 applications or more.
That might be, I'm speaking for myself and the rest of the compliance staff, though, logistically organizing board meetings can be a little bit tough, organizing the board. So if we do wait till you have all the applications and we get everybody together for like a big full day of application review, that might be easier. And of course, if I do end up applying for any position, somebody else will take care of the organization. But I'm thinking that might be easier to just wait till they all come so you can see all your options at once.
The other thing, Madam President, I think, and I'll leave it up to the board what it ultimately decides, is it could be helpful to have HR do the initial filtering process as the applications come in.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
So if I can recap, so far on the table, we have a tentative post date of September 12th to close on September 26th, sometime after September, and it should be posted both on Indeed and the board's website. And then after 9/26, the 3-member committee will come together with guidance from legal counsel to review all the applications. Is that?
Can we just, can I?
Currently, you have all the applications coming to myself. So if HR is now out of the equation, I believe that should be directed to somebody else, either Kathy, Gwen, or Jennifer. I shouldn't be receiving these applications if I'm out of the equation.
I can't hear you, Andrew. What Andrew say?
Please,
Sure. So Andrew is making mention of on the tentative job descriptions, he's the agency point of contact to receive the applications. Should that be updated to reflect one of the board members and just have it addressed to one of the committee members instead? Does that make more sense to you all?
I mean, I'm fine with the applications going to Andrew.
I think his point was though, if you didn't want HR to also kind of filter through them, should they even be going to him, or would you prefer to have it just go to a committee member?
Okay, let me just, can I back up one thing? Let me ask you this. Well, maybe we shouldn't have it open for the 12th through the 26th. Maybe we should just have it open like a week and something, because I think it's going to be a lot of applications for us to go through in one day. And the board meeting is when? October 4th?
October 10th.
October 10th.
I don't think we're going to be ready.
Well, if need be, we can host a separate meeting, but I mean, I think in fairness, like, I feel like a week might be too short for applicable. You know what I mean? I want to make sure that people who want to apply get the chance to.
No, I was thinking, I'm good with the 2 weeks, but I was thinking it should be posted tomorrow. I was thinking, I don't know why we already have it approved, why we can't post it. What we waiting on for 4 days?
Andrew?
We already, don't we have it already ready to go? We didn't make any changes to it, did we?
No, whatever the board wants. Like, Andrew's usually the person who posts Indeed for our employment opportunities internally. So I just wanted to make sure he wasn't going to be too rushed on top of his other work.
What do you think, Andrew?
It's whatever the board votes on and decides. I work at the discretion of the board.
Okay. So what do you guys think, board? Do you want to wait? You want to post tomorrow, the 15th, or do you want to wait and post Monday, the 12th?
This is board member Douglas. I don't mind the 12th.
Okay, we can do the 12th. I'm okay. I was just wondering why we were waiting, because we already had it approved.
I guess there is processes that they have to go through to get it on what they need to do, but
we can do the 12th. I'm good with the 12th.
Okay, I would like to address though, with what Andrew has brought forward, because if he's not involved, he shouldn't get the applications. I do agree with that.
Okay.
But I think he should be involved. I think because he will have the first he will have the first eyes, and whether it even needs to come before us, because it may be somebody that's not even qualified, and we don't want to have to go through the applications that are not qualified.
Well, I'm not quite sure if we can do it that way. I think we have a committee, and the committee has to look through all the applicants. I'm not sure if we could just say, Andrew, pick out the ones that you think is good for us to interview.
No, I don't want to do that. I mean, I think if they're qualified, I think he's intelligent enough to put them off to the side and not get rid of them, because but
well, I mean, why would somebody apply for a position when it has the qualifications and they're not qualified?
It happens.
Be amazed.
It happens all the time.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm good, Andrew, because I don't want to sit there looking at a lot of applications that we're not going to look at. So you can look through them, Andrew. I don't care.
No, I don't. I'm trying to define my own role in this. I'm trying to define what my role should be, if any. And if I'm not receiving applications, or if you don't want HR involved with this, then perhaps it should be addressed to someone else other than myself, because there's no point in me just collecting applications and then forwarding them on. Send them straight to Kathy or yourself or Jennifer.
Oh, you're not trying to give me the applications, I know.
It's up to whatever the board decides.
I would think it would probably be a good thing for one of the staff members to be a part of that. Not as far as the director or the deputy director part goes, but Andrew is part of HR, and he is the accountant, and he knows.
I'm fine with that. I don't have a problem with that.
So can I summarize one more time to make sure I get my meeting minutes correct?
Yeah.
9/12 post date, 9/26 close date, posted to both Indeed and our website. Interested applicants will be directed to either apply through Indeed or to mail any documentation to Andrew Helms, CFO, HR representative, who will also be playing some role in at least guiding along the committee meeting.
Yeah.
And the committee consists of Ditzler, Bramo, Jeffers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. That's fine.
Okay.
So is that it? Was there anything else?
And then just to
Oh, you
confirm
want us
that-
to set a date that we were gonna look at the applications?
Well, that could be done internally, whichever works for,
Okay.
yeah, that whichever works for the committee schedules.
Okay,
I just wanted, I just also just want to clarify that what is the, I guess, the minimal number that the committee would forward over to the board for each position? Are you guys going to narrow it down to 3, 4 for each position? Or is it?
That's a good thing.
maybe 3. I say 3. What do you guys say? Committee?
The committee
And the
would,
board member, Jennifer?
we would pick 3, the top 3, and then bring it before the board and let the board decide which one we want. Okay. I like that.
Okay, that's it. Anything else? AG, Christie?
That is it on my end.
Okay, anything else, Leah, that you have it all written down? You need?
I have it written down, yep.
Okay, so I can go to the public comment.
Yes.
The board will entertain comments from the general public that is or is not published on the agenda and is related to the Nevada State Board of Cosmetology. No action can be taken on the matter unless it's on the agenda. Any public comment? 3 minutes or less. Do we have any public that would like to comment on anything that was on the agenda or not on the agenda? Okay. Comments from board members. The board will entertain comments from the members that is or not published on the agenda for the Nevada State Board of Cosmetology. Any board members have any other comments they would like to make before we close out? Any questions or any concerns or any comments about anything that was on the agenda or not on the agenda? Okay, well, can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Member Ditzler, I make a motion that we adjourn.
This board member Douglas, I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Okay, bye-bye.